timeline and evolution of Western esotericism. Throughout history, a hidden current of spiritual knowledge and occultism has flowed beneath the surface of Western civilization, which is currently known as Western esotericism. It's mystical, mysterious, and shaped the minds of philosophers, artists, scientists, and magicians for around 2,000 years. In today's lecture, I want to explore with you the evolution of Western esotericism from the temples of ancient Egypt to the glowing screens of the digital age. How about we dive in? Western esotericism is a tradition of hidden and symbolic knowledge. The core components, the main ones, include Hermeticism, Kabbalah, Gnosticism, alchemy, astrology, magic, and theosophy. To begin, we have to travel all the way back to the crossroads of civilization in the Hellenistic world around the 3rd century BCE. Here we find the roots of Western esotericism in a fascinating blend of Egyptian lore, Egyptian religion that is mixed with Greek philosophy and mystical speculation. One of the most important figures is Hermes Trismegistus, or Hermes Thrice Great. He is a fusion of the Greek god Hermes and the Egyptian god Thoth. His teachings are found in the Corpus Hermeticum, which describe a divine cosmos where the soul must ascend back to the One through knowledge or Gnosis. Around the same time period, we also see the rise in Gnosticism, which is a system that teaches the material world is a flawed creation of a lower god, or the demiurge. And salvation actually comes through inner revelations in personal knowledge, or personal gnosis. And while these movements often clashed with early Christianity, they never fully disappeared. In fact, some of them merged and became eventually a mystical Christianity movement, like Christian Gnosticism. We then see medieval esotericism. As the Roman Empire gave way to medieval Europe, much of esoteric thought and knowledge went underground. But of course, it didn't vanish. In Christian Europe, mystics like Hildegard of Bingen and Meister Eckhart kept the flame alive with visions of divine light and the soul's ascent. Meanwhile, we also see a rise in Jewish mysticism, known as Kabbalah, which emerged around the 12th and 13th centuries. With its core text, the Zohar, God is not a single figure, but it is a complex system of emanations. We see the rise of the tree of knowledge, or the tree of life, with its different spheres called Sephiroth. In Jewish mysticism or Kabbalah, there is an understanding that these teachings will bring the soul closer to a divine unity. We also have much to owe about the evolution of Western esotericism to the Islamic Golden Age, where scholars preserved Greek philosophy and they developed new forms of esoteric thought. From Baghdad to Cordoba, thinkers like Avicenna and Suhradi explored Neoplatonic and Hermetic ideas that would later echo back in Europe. The Renaissance. It wasn't just about art, it was a rebirth of ancient wisdom. Scholars like Marsilio Ficino, which translated the Corpus Hermeticum into Latin, such bringing back into the mainstream for the first time in many years. Pico de la Mirandola, a genius at 23, tried to reconcile all knowledge. He tried to fuse Christianity, Kabbalah, and Platonic thought into his 900 Theses, a manifesto of Renaissance esotericism. This era saw alchemy, magic, astrology treated as serious sciences. They were seen as the symbolic language so we can read the mind of God, so we can know what he's thinking, or she. And this is where the documentary The Renaissance and Esotericism gives us a great insight. It shows how the cosmos was seen as a divine manuscript, every star and number a sacred symbol. Even medicine became esoteric. Just think of Paracelsus, he was a mystic, an alchemist, and a doctor who believed in healing through the inner spirits of matter. Time doesn't stop, and now we are in the Elizabethan era, and we see a rise in secret societies. In the Elizabethan Age, esotericism reached new heights in England. We have historians that argue that Queen Elizabeth's court was deeply influenced by Hermetic ideals. Of course, we all know of her advisor, John Dee, that he wasn't just an astrologer, he was a mathematician, an alchemist, and a mystic or magus that believed that he could speak to angels in the very old Enochian language. Dee envisioned a British Empire under divine guidance. He was trying to bring a fusion of political and magical influences. Around this same time, we have a mysterious movement called Rosicrucianism, which exploded. Pamphlets appeared across Europe speaking of a secret brotherhood that was devoted to spiritual enlightenment, science, and a reform. This myth sparked centuries of secret societies, including the very well-known Freemasons, that blended esoteric ritual with these Enlightenment ideals. Esotericism was no longer just about inner transformation. It was a blueprint for society, at least during this period. And we finally come to modern esotericism. From the Victorian 19th century, an age of steam engines, telegrams, but still always evolving, fascination with magic. Romanticism, with its love of mystery, myth, regained an interest in occult knowledge. And so, there was an occult revival. We meet new figures like Madame Blavatsky that founded this Theosophical Society and claimed to have channeled wisdom from ascended masters. Her writing shaped a lot of today's New Age thought. We see the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, featuring members like Aleister Crowley, W.B. Yeats, that brought elaborate magical systems to modern Britain and to the Western world. Meanwhile, psychology starts catching on. And Carl Jung, a student of the unconscious, found a deep resonance with alchemy, astrology, and tarot. He didn't see them as superstition, but as a symbolism that can guide us to our psyche. He used archetypes of alchemy, mixing science and esotericism. And then we have the 21st century. Today is everywhere. And although many things have been preserved, it also looks quite different because we see tarot decks in many stores. We see moon rituals being shown on Instagram. We have organized covens on Discord. We have PDFs of Book of Shadows. A new age movement that started fusing Western esotericism with spirituality, and more than ever is emphasizing personal empowerment, healing, and trying to gain some enlightenment and alignment. But behind all of this, there is a same thread. There is a search for mystical knowledge, for spiritual and personal growth, and to find that divine God, if you will, and bring it into our everyday life. Western esotericism has never been static. It keeps evolving with the times and keeps adapting to each cultural shift, from the ancient temples to new digital PDFs, these symbols continue to speak to those willing to listen and go beyond the surface. If this lecture intrigued you, I want to share with you some great places to continue your journey and so you can go deeper. You may want to read A History of Western Esotericism by Nicholas Goodrick-Clarke, The Occult Philosophy in the Elizabethan Age by Frances Yates, and some works by Antoine Favre, Wouter Hanergraaff, and, of course, let's not forget Carl Jung. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to subscribe and like this video.